You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
In today's show, you're going to be getting a company update from Doré Copper Mining, one of our sponsors. I'm a shareholder, and last time we spoke with the president and CEO and one of the founders, Ernest Mast. I'm going to put a link to that interview. It's a profile interview that gives you a little bit of the backstory and understanding of the investment value proposition. That will be in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a link above my head for that. Ernie, welcome back onto the program. And since we last spoke, you've released a couple press releases. One of those has to do with a $6 million Canadian financing that you just completed. So please review that with us. What type of investors did you bring in, and what type of money do you have in the treasury as we speak?
So thanks, Bill. So currently, that raise that we announced was really strategic in that we had some new Quebec funds come in, as well as some of the existing funds that are currently invested in the company. We also had some new investors come in, and we're pretty excited about diversifying our investor base with this raise. We closed in two tranches, one at the end of last year and one at the beginning of this year. And that's all settled away. So currently we have a little over $6 million in treasury, and most of those funds will be used for drilling purposes, but essentially we're fully funded now to get to the point where we can issue new resources in a PEA later this year.
Okay. When we last spoke, I think the share price was somewhere around 70 cents Canadian, and then it ran up to $1, and it's down back around 70 cents Canadian as we speak, kind of a round trip since we last spoke. Can you talk to us a little about what occurred in the share price movement since we last spoke?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'd say it's about 70, well, it's a little over 70 cents, say 74, 75 now. But one of the things I think that occurred is that there was a run up in a lot of copper stocks, and a few of them have retraced a bit. And also we had some flow through shares become tradable at the beginning of the year, and that may have created some additional sellers. We think a lot of that's out of the system now. So as we discussed before, I believe the next zoom up we have should be much more sustainable.
Okay. And you released some drill results from your Mann project. This is one of the highest grade precious metals gold mines in Canada historically that you're looking to bring back into production. So you're doing the hub and spoke model. So just give us an overview again of this Mann project and how it fits into your overall model that you're working with.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, Bill. So the Mann mine produced 1.2 million ounces of gold, and it stopped operating in 2007. At that time, the company running the mine decided to invest in a copper mine. Gold prices weren't as strong as copper in the mid-2000s, if you recall. And essentially, they closed the mine in an orderly fashion. Over the life of the mine, it produced at a grade of 8.26 grams per ton gold and also at 0.3% copper. Over the last 4 years of the mine's life, the ore actually was processed in our Copper Rand mill, where recoveries were about 85% gold and over 90% copper. So how this fits into our hub and spoke model is that the Mann mine, when it returns to operation, can be commingled with the Corner Bay ore. We would produce doré from the Mann mine, but also some of the gold in Mann is in solution with the copper mineralization, and that's going to increase the gold content of our copper concentrate. The Mann mine has a strike of over 1 kilometer, and the majority of the ore mined was from the main zone and the west zone.
Okay, and the west zone was made mention of in your recent press release. What did you discover in the west zone with this latest round of drilling?
So we drilled on the west zone. We drilled a deep pilot hole, and then we did 3 wedges off that. The first 2 intercepts that we got were probably a little bit too far west, and they missed the ore plunge. But then hole number 3 hit 4 meters at 10 grams per ton, and this is about 100 meters down dip of 3 intercepts that are very similar, meaning 4 to 5 meters and around 10 grams per ton. So, we established the fact that the mineralization, the dip continues, and we extended down dip by approximately 100 meters. The deposit is still open in its plunge zone towards the east, and that's going to be our next target that we're going to drill. So we're really happy with that result. And even the holes that didn't get good mineralization, we hit the structures. So the structures are continuous and they're persistent. And that just means with a little more drilling, maybe we can get some good intercepts there as well.
The second zone you were testing at Joe Mann was the far west zone. What did you find here?
So the far west zone is a very interesting zone in that it's never been mined, but there's a drift or a tunnel going through the area at a depth of 145 meters. And we intercepted 3 meters at 10 grams on the far west zone, and also had an intercept of 0.4 meters at 41 grams and 0.6% copper. This far west zone has numerous intercepts that are very high grade, including some intercepts over 100 grams. When we model the area, we're not seeing the same type of continuity along structure at the Joe Mann main mine. So we're having a deeper look at the information. The other thing that we're doing on the far west zone is it's obviously nuggety in nature because of that, say, hit of 0.4 meters at 40 grams, when we really didn't anticipate anything from that analysis. So we're going to analyze the whole core and see what kind of nuggety nature that there is. But we'll have a look at it and see if there's some potential for mining. In the past, I believe they wouldn't have mined it because gold prices were relatively low. With today's high grade gold prices, we could probably put together more of a disseminated model and see what that would look like. So lots of potential there as well. Recall that it's very shallow. It's about 100 to 250 meters deep, and there's a drift already going through this area.
And does this type of deposit typically get higher grade as you get to depth?
On Joe Mann, I'd say it's high grade all the way through. So you get 40 gram intercepts close to surface and at depth as well. But I don't think we really know enough about the far west zone to comment on that. It's possible. If it does get higher grade intercepts, then we're going to start getting 100 gram intercepts, which would be great.
And the main zone, I understand you're looking at that again as a possibly dewatering to lower your cost of future drilling. Is that right?
Correct. So in the current program that we did, we had an intercept of 1.3 meters at 6.3 grams per ton gold and 0.52% copper. That intercept was located between two historic intercepts of an ounce per ton and the historical working. So what we'd like to do is infill in that area a little more in the future, and it makes a lot more sense for us to do it from underground, where the drilling distance would be, call it 100 to 150 meters, as opposed to over 1,000 meters from surface. So there's a cost implication of drilling from surface, but even bigger is that it's hard to keep the drill exactly where you want it to be. So you end up kind of deviating from your intended target. So we're looking to dewater the Joe Mann mine, which last operated in 2007, and it has all of its infrastructure in there to be able to get back down underground.
And what would something like that cost to dewater?
A dewatering effort there would probably be $2 million. However, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to embark on a study to get a much harder number.
Got it. And what are you doing at Corner Bay? Is there anything going on there right now?
Yes. So when we recommence drilling in the new year, as we digest and analyze these Joe Mann results, we're drilling at Corner Bay, and the Corner Bay deposit during the course of 2020, we very successfully drilled the deposit, extending it out to the south at depth. And we will continue to do that. But at the present time, we're actually drilling the deposit on the north side and testing some of the high-grade intercepts that have occurred there in the past and drilling those up dip. And so we're looking to expand upon the tonnage there. Just as a reminder to the viewers, Corner Bay is a deposit with over 3% copper. There's very few of those deposits in the world. We currently have 3 million tons, but with the drilling that we did last year and the drilling we intend to do this year, we should significantly be expanding the deposit.
So should we expect resource updates at both Joe Mann and Corner Bay this year?
Correct. That's right. And we'd like to incorporate a little more drilling in both of those deposits. For Joe Mann, we don't necessarily have to do the dewatering and underground, the dewatering and drilling from underground before updating the resource, but we may do a couple of more holes from the surface.
Okay, and then you also have a PEA at Joe Mann we should expect, right?
Correct. And so the PEA will be on Corner Bay and Joe Mann and some other deposits that we have. So in the PEA, we'd like to prove out the hub and spoke theory, where we have a couple of mines feeding a centralized mill. That's just really to give the market an indication that we are going to be a cash flowing, profitable business. With underground mines, as we do know, as you start working underground and you continue to drill more and more, the resources expand. So we're only going to get the resources to a certain level before this PEA, but it should be enough to put forward a profitable business plan going forward.
And for listeners new to the story, the timeline is about 3 to 3.5 years from now, hopefully be in production, right?
Correct. That's right.
All right. Well, to learn more about the story, go to DoréCopper.com. There's also a link to my original interview with Ernie, in which we go over other aspects of the company more in depth. The ticker symbol in Toronto is DCMC, and on the OTCQB, you can look it up or buy it under the ticker DRCMF. Thank you for joining me today, Ernie.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for your time, and wishing all your listeners a safe winter, and let's hope we can move on from the current situation as soon as we can.